Draw room. Ah. I think we're live. Nice one. Nice, nice, nice. Let's wait for everybody to come in while I'm setting up to everyone rewatching this. Hello, here we are on the LAWO that is very well known on this platform. I've been streaming quite a few times on Twitch already, but was never really able to get my audience there. And now that I'm starting to mix a few songs that I produced on my Twitch streams, I thought it's the perfect time to come to YouTube and show you all the process. So here we are on the LAWO. I think you're hearing my voice right now through the laptop microphone, and that is what I will want to change first. So I will route the talkback microphone that is always on. You can see it here in the center of the console. And let me show you, and I'll also try this feature where I can unmount. Does that work? Yeah. Here we are. So there's the talkback in the center of the console, and I have the talkback amplifier, which is constantly on. So even though there is this control panel for talkback, where I can make like a talk group, talk to everyone that I wish to, or talk to individual auxes, that is just doing a kind of routing. So the amplifier is always on. You can see it here when I tap on it, the limiter engaging. This is always sending. So what I'm gonna do first is route this microphone output to the Twitch stream, because I think you're hearing me from the laptop microphone, and the laptop is a little bit off, right? So if I go into my matrix here, and I can show the matrix list, right, where I have inputs and outputs and can connect them. I do have, let me show that, there it is, talkback, right? So I can route this talkback to an input. And if I look onto, yeah, you're seeing my Streamlabs on screen, which is actually super helpful for me to kind of know where I am with the camera, because my phone is actually black right now. Hi, greetings back to Ireland. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. Also big ups to Solarphonics, who's showing up as my #1 supporter here. Well deserved. Well deserved. So my routing setup, and I have for this console here already a mix loaded because I was doing a mix revision before, so you can see the console here already has some channels and stuff going, and that is from my template. I already have stuff routed to the DAW here, and the 1 and 2 is left free, and the 1 and 2 is important because I do use that for the loopback of the computer audio. So if we were going to listen to Ableton, for example, that is needed. The 1 and 2 are needed for that. I then have auxes, more auxes. 15, 16 is my mix return, and then if I come here, that is where I would have free space to send stuff. And then if we would go, if I would go to DAW2, and you can see with these pluses I have connections there, and that is because my outboard is connected as inserts, meaning they're always hardwired. I can send from Ableton, in my case from the DAW, to an output of the RME that is routed directly to the hardware, coming back directly to an input. long story short, well, let me first load a new title because we are going to do a new mix today. So I'm gonna need a fresh title. Well, before I do that, let me actually save what I did today. Now I'm loading a title, and I have here under my templates, I have a mix template that I'm going to load. I'm going to show you the loading process because it's actually kind of cool. Let's see if that looks right on camera. You have a face meter set up, yeah. The face meter. I know people that have like a second monitor, and then also there is this new mini meter plugin that you see in a lot of like YouTube producers and stuff that I can really recommend. But also the face meter, you're gonna see it later. The star of the console. So here's my console. I'm gonna load the empty mix preset, and there you see it. All faders are on 0 dB now. Console is loaded, and I can do my routing for the talkback. So yeah, 1 and 2 has to be free. These are done. Let me use 32, right? So I can go here. Let me show this more. And I'm using this setup here with a trackball, by the way, and I never had a trackball in my life, so to say, and I'm actually loving this. Before I was like, how can this be better than this? But for this console, I actually love it. So I'm taking the talkback. I connect it on the left side. I connect it on the right side. My input 32, and if I now press Easy Connect, I made a connection. And then if we would now go, hello, Mr. Asteria. Yes, the LAWO is the free console that I was able to get working again. Good evening, Mr. Solarphonics. Yes, no smoke today, and as I myself have stopped smoking, nobody will smoke today, at least in this room. So total mix, and let me see if that worked. Talkback is connected to DAW 132. I'm not seeing this here. Do I have to talk in order to make this work? Check. Check. I know why. There is this recording rack which hosts the converter for my talkback as well. And then other preamps that I use to record bands, vocals, everything. The internal LAWO preamps are amazing. Also, I love my Siemens preamps, which are kind of like, they remember me of APIs, just a simple op-amp, transformers, tube. I'm getting carried away. So let me turn this on. You can see it's synchronizing to the system. Then I'm getting a message that I have these reactivated on the board, and I can now see, here it is, my talkback microphone. So if I would now, if I now route this to, what do I need first? My audio cast. So I have 32. Well, yeah, 32. Yes, mono. I've sent this to Sirius B. And what else do I need? I need to add an input. I think it's this. Talk back. Talkback is Sirius B. Check. Ah, nice. Now you should hearing me over the talkback here in the center of the console. I know from recording sessions that I do that the gain is a bit low, and we're going to change that. I would have to assign this to a channel in order to change the input gain of this. But yeah, that's the first step. You're now hearing me over the talkback, which is super cool. Some from the other videos. Yeah, welcome then here. A lot of change from the early videos, and I picked it up from like media school. Let me get this back on so I have a hand free. And I have contact to students now that help me load this into the truck, and they're seeing this now and they're like, whoa, what happened? Yes, it did lose low end because the talkback on here actually has a filter built in. So I might sound like over the telephone. I think that's what musicians always tell me. And there's this thought process behind it. There's actually a limiter on there too, and I will raise the volume now, as promised. But the LAWO engineered this, or the idea behind it is that if you have it on your headphones while you're playing music or whatever, and then the talkback comes in with a lot of bass, that can be disturbing. So that is actually planned for it to sound like a telephone. It should not have a lot of high, like very high frequencies either, because that was their idea for talkback, like for speech. The idea was that it's limited. Now, if I assign this to an input channel, and I could just use a tiny one, like let me choose B30. Connect it. I can now go into my assignment. Let me see if I can show it to you. So for everything that is for everything that is routing an assignment, I have these matrices. So I can now access B30. Yes, and I can turn up the gain of the talkback here. And now it is louder. Oh yeah, now it is a bit very loud. I cannot turn off the filter. You might actually be right for like recording and talkback. It is totally fine to talk over music like this. But for the stream, I could do two things. I could either switch back to the laptop, that is this one, or I think this is the microphone of the phone. No. This is the talkback as well. I think I can add my phone. I'm already getting it. That's better for the. I think that was for the laptop microphone. In a good bit quiet. Let me try and. Oh yeah, I do have iPhone mic. iPhone mic. That is the mic from my iPhone. Maybe that is better. I can adjust gain a little bit. Let me know. Okay. Nice. So let me close a bit here. Open. Well, maybe I'll try to have chat here on the side. Nice. Nice. And then have Ableton kind of like this here. So we're mixing a tune today that I kind of wrote or composed on stream. It is electronic music. We're doing techno today. And I'm gonna do the whole process of putting this onto the board, labeling everything, and then mixing it. And I think that's where I'm at with my YouTube videos right now as well. Some of this that you're seeing here is already my videos of. Ah, yeah, well, I think... Oh. Ah! What the hell? Yeah. That's that. I think that was when I moved this to the... Sorry about this. I think... Is this... Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. It's my first day, I swear, it's my first stream. Well, it is here on the LAWO. Thanks for your patience. I hope it stays like this now, because this setup, for me, this setup is perfect. Okay, so here, what you're seeing here now is a bit closer to... I mean, it is obviously live, right? So the videos are a bit behind. So some of it is spoilers. Some of the tools that I have arranged here are a little bit different than they are in the videos. Thank you for your feedback on sound and layout, by the way. So also some of the problems that I have in the videos might be solved as well. But I don't want to spoil too much. On the other hand, if there is something that is new, I would invite you to comment then under the video that you've been knowing this from the live stream as well. Just show yourself. Yes. So first thing for me, in order to make a mix on this console, would be labeling. And I have a setup right now where all my faders are at 0 and all my faders are going to sum 1 and 2. And can I... Can I show you then? Well, we start with the song first. I check my gains. This is what we're going to be mixing today, and then also I need headphones because otherwise you will hear the music in the mic. So on my right side, that's where I say where I do the routing. I have these two tabs where I decide on the right side what am I hearing on the loudspeakers. That I can switch to the sum 1 and 2 or to my DAW 1 and 2 or whatever. I'm gonna kind of disable that by using an output that is kind of empty. Or I could just, whatever, I can just mute it. And on the left side I have the same for my headphones. So I have these headphones that come out here in the console. And if I choose DAW here now, I should be able to hear it. I have my adapter here. Nice. I have my headphones here. System 500. Actually, I have the theory that the System 500 was inspired by this here, because what you're seeing here is actually, I think, the last console built in the Danner format, which is an old German format that they developed in the 60s. So there is some Neumann modules that were the first to use, and Telefunken as well, that were the first to use this transistorized. Before you would have like tube, also cassette formats for tube. I don't know if you know like the V72, Danner with A. Ah, Weitze. Hello and welcome. One of my more prominent followers. Everybody say hi, Weitze, in the comments. Happy to have you here. You might know this console. Well, I think you said you even mixed on it. Well, here it is. And yeah, this is actually Dana format and maybe the last system built in Dana. So the cassette format here, like the width of it and the height, is the Dana standard. It does use more modern connectors as it is a digital system now, but it's Dana, yeah, with an A, exactly. And I don't know if Dana was before API 500. It is very similar, with the only difference that API 500 is like a standardized systems where you have inputs and outputs always on the same pin of your connector. And the Dana modules, I actually have some analog Danas here that I can show you. What would I have to do for this? I think loosen this screw. Yes. So, and I have them side by side here now. So this is API 500, right? And this is Dana format. And there's Neumann equalizers and stuff that were built for this format. But the connectors on the backside are always different. So you always have to solder yourself, and you get these tech charts where you know which pin of the connector is has which signal. And it is not standardized. That is why for Dana, for the old modules, you neither get pre-fitted racks, so it's all hand wired, and also you don't get new modules for Dana, which is I don't know. I like the Dana format, but still I think I like the Dana because it's bigger, and a lot of the designs in Dana, they have big input and output transformers and have the space for it. And also on the front controls, API 500 is a bit small, I would say. But there's a lot of good reasons why the API 500 became such a standard. But who came first? I don't know if API 500 is inspired by Dana. Who knows? The dollar trucks, spear frog. Ah, yeah. Yeah, Weitze has a beautiful Neumann Dana console that I think you split it up to be on the left and right of your desk, right? And that's what Dana is also good at. It's this flexibility. And this console tried to do the Dana idea in digital, so I can move these around, but I don't have to rewire it by hand. But I do have to register it. So these motors are not self-registering. If I would take my aux section and put it somewhere else, it would technically work, but it would not automatically register. So I would have to go into like a script and tell the console, okay, my aux section is on B80 now, where it was before on bus B slot 20 or 22. Yeah, the song that I'm mixing today is it's my own. We did produce that on stream. It is techno-ish, on the harder side, and I'm gonna give it. I'm just gonna give it a play, and then we're gonna put it on the console. Let me see if the levels are right, or if you're gonna be blasted now.
Watch out.
Yeah, I think I'm clipping in Ableton. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it is Everton. I think I actually turned it down. So that I can like kind of talk over it a bit. Please give me a feedback on if that idea works. Like if I'm able to talk over it without it. Being overpowering. So that is the song we're doing today. Thank you all for your kind words. It does go hard indeed. That's what we're here for today. There is softer songs. I also thought about maybe we will be doing kind of like a more analog, in a sense of instrument project on here live as well. It could be interesting to do kind of like a band song, but I would need files for that. I do client work that is that way, but I of course I don't have the rights, and I don't want to showcase like professional work here. But yeah, that's all for the future. So we're doing that song today. Pretty simple. Is the console connected digitally to Ableton? Do you have to do an ADDA step? No, this is a digital console. So actually, I have, and let me explain you the setup. So I have my laptop here, and this laptop is connected to an RME MADI FX interface. And I have 2 wires of MADI coming out there that go into the console. Whoop. And the console already has had these MADI optical connections built in. I'm pretty fortunate with this system that that the digital ins and outs are modern enough that I can still use them. Like MADI is a pretty wide known standard still. There's earlier digital consoles, like somebody offered me a now I forgot the name. Yeah, I don't have it right now, but I got offered an earlier console that had such obscure digital formats that I wasn't able to use it. In here, I have optical MADI, and it shows up as DAW inputs, and I actually have 3 of them. So with the 56 channel, I could do 56 times 3 connections to and from my DAW, which is awesome. Right now with my card, I have 2, but I could, because it's the MADI FX has 2 optical ports and 1 which is an analog coaxial port. If I would exchange the coaxial, I think it's another 400 euros for an optical card, then I could use the full 56 times 3, which is, what is that mathematically, 168 or so channels to and back, right? So that's pretty sweet, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to send, or what we're going to do now is we're going to send the tracks from the DAW. So I have like kick. It's actually not a ton of channels, but I think this is perfect for starters. So I have a kick here. I have like a 909 track, which is just coming straight off the drum computer. I have a 727 percussion. I have a 707, which is a clap. And we're going to send that to the console. And bear with me. I will try to find a way to make this audible for you too. But the first thing I'm gonna do is to make it visible. So let me show you the other side, because normally if you look at the console from the front, my setup right now is that I would have drums and bass on the left side, and also percussions and FX sounds and whatnot, and on the right side I would have like music and vocals. So as we're starting with drums, as like every sane mixer does, start with the kick drum. We're going to start on the left side. And I have pre-labeled a few channels, so because I think in my latest video I was showing that I was not satisfied with like labeling everything, and I didn't start to have every channel labeled, but I do have, like, it's also good for orientation. I have 2 channels for bass already. I have a kick channel here, I have a snare channel here, and then also in my DAW where I do the output assignments. So yeah, for example here, let's start with a kick, right? I route that kick to external out, and then in here I have all my console channels already labeled, so I can choose it to route it to A1, for example, which is here for FX, A3, A5, as it's all stereo, and that is pre-labeled here. They don't match the ins and outs because of the way that returns are. I didn't want to start with channel 1 and 2 as 1 and 2, so channel 5 and 6 is my A1. And then here for good orientation, you can see I have just a little bit, because songs are just too different. I was not able to I thought it was not a good idea to pre-name all my channels to be like, okay, I have a guitar channel as well, because while certainly 95% of songs do have a kick drum, maybe only 50% of the songs that I do have a guitar. So we're routing the kick to my kick channel, and if I press play now, you see it showing up on the console. And that's via digital connection, so it should be this, well, it's not the same 32-bit, but it's just like the 24-bit. Now, if I route that back, and I think I can make it pretty easy, so we have my sum 1 and 2 that I use right now. If I route my sum 1 and 2, let's say to DAW 29 and 30, again, choosing it, easy connecting. And in my total mix, I should have, yes, 29, 30. I also have 15, 16. That is interesting. Oh, it is already, I think because the kick is pre-routed. It is showing me my analog chain that I will present later as well. For now, I think if I do this, does that work? Does that work? Are you hearing the kick drum now? No! Give it another try. I think because I am rerouting 1 and 2. Here it is. Yeah. We're hearing just my mix 1 and 2 now that every channel is like pre-routed to. So there it is. Digital. Let me put this back to 0. It's pretty easy. When I touch the fader, it shows me the level of it. And if I don't touch it, it shows me which instrument. All right. There were some muddy questions. Everything stays digital. Yes, it stays digital until I sum it in analog, and that's what we're going to come later. Why would I want to do that? MADI interface. Well, I bring the MADI interface, but the console handles all like external communication in MADI. So not only do I have the possibility to go into the desk and back with MADI, but also let me check if you're seeing this now. But I'm gonna show you. Maybe you know this from my videos. There are these interfaces. There's some down there, and then there's also some down here. All of these that have these green lights. They are my AD and DA units, and they also communicate to the system with MADI. But they're working a bit different because they don't use optical and they don't use coaxial. They have like a 9-pin, kind of like a computer connector that works with analog MADI, but it's a symmetrical analog connection similar to AES, I think. That's for the nerds out there. So, what's up there in gaming? Welcome. MADI is an ancient transport. Interesting, from 1991. But I also thought this system here should be one of the earlier ones to really work with this format. Or the others that I know are later. Like I'm working with an SSL C200 right now. There's another spoiler, and that one is MADI as well. But earlier than this, I don't know, even oh no, I forgot the name. There's another company that did a pretty similar digital system at a pretty similar time, and they don't use MADI. They have their own format that they still use. Okay, good. So let me go through and fill up the console with the individual elements. So I have the kick that you're hearing. Right now, and I think yeah, because I'm routing it back. You're listening to everything, but can I, if I deactivate this? Yeah, now we're only listening to the desk. So if I choose my 909 sounds and I put them next to the kick on the left. Yeah, see them coming up next channel. I do the same with the other drums, so that's all external outs. And then actually I want to swap these. Yeah, and I have a 606 and 909 channel here that I don't use, but I think... Oh yeah, that's my master track, so I can delete these. So the 727 is actually a clap. And the 909 is the 909. 727 is a percussion track. Do some labeling that I normally do. Mixing as well, a little bit of project preparation. But I'm lucky today because we talk a lot that we're not going to mix a huge project. Okay, the clap has to go. Let me put that on the snare track just for convenience. Percussion next to it. Okay, cool. Now, I think somebody earlier asked, what is this space in the middle here for? And originally, you can see me in my videos, kind of build it. Originally, I wanted this to have my laptop on here. So that I can, use the display as well and connect it. But I figured that the setup that I have right now with like wireless mouse and keyboard and then the laptop to the side is just works better for me. So what is it for right now? I shorten it a bit, and it has the sole purpose of hosting this keyboard, because right now when I'm preparing the mix, I use two keyboards. This one's for the console, this one's for my computer, and then there's another slot right here that's for my phone, and that's what this in the middle is for. So if we go to, I don't know, how's the size of the picture, because for me this is pretty small. I don't know if you're really making out what I'm doing. Let me show it. Let me show you the faders here. So there's kick. This kick, and if I would want to name the other channels, I'm going into this matrix list that I showed you earlier, and I can rename it there with this keyboard and the input channel section. So that's what I'm gonna do, and maybe you can see that show up next to my kick. This is my 909, so that is 909. Yes. My snare is not my snare, but it's a clap. And I love naming things in Ableton in all caps, but on this console it has the old school all caps where it also reverses the numbers, which I always take for granted on on the Apple system, that it doesn't do that. Here, if I would name a channel in all caps plus a number, it would give me all kinds of signs. That is my drums. That's all of it for today. 4 tracks. Start simple. The other channels that I'm not using, I can actually, with the matrix that I have here on the right. Let me show it to you a bit further. The matrix that I have here on the right, I can assign and deassign them, and you can see with this template already, there's some channels on the left that are not being played right now, and I will do the same for the other channels that I don't use, and I have 2 modes for that. One mode is that if I take out a channel, and I would show it to you with the channel 19 here. If I access via the matrix channel A19, or I could have just pressed it, I can either absolutely take it out and then you see it just turns black, or I can do it in kind of a move settings where all the channels move to the left. So if I take it out in the move mode, you will see that the kick now moved 1 to the left. I have all my drums compact right now. Let me take out the other ones in like absolute, and I could also use arrows that I have here. You see, yeah, there you see the yellow dot moving. So I could actually do it from here and take these out. Where am I? Yeah. Okay, now in order to clean it up, I take my fixed channel, which I like to leave open just in case something happens. I feel, well, no, I could just do, where do I want to have it? Put it on the 11, take it out on the 5. And now I made myself a nice little setup where I have all my drums close together. There's these tracks between kick and bass that I'm going to take out as well. So let me use the move. Yes. Now in order to move everything back to the right, I take this channel. I'm in the move as well. I copy it 2 times. No, 3 times. Go into absolute, take these out. And now I have cleaned it up, basically. And that is time that I like to take for myself and for mixing, just making it kind of nice and tidy. That is my left side. No, it's not yet. I have the bass here as well, and I think this is actually two different kind of basses. So let me put this bass one, the other one bass two. Wrong keyboard, happens all the time. Yeah. First bass, kind of like a 303. Second bass, which is I think a lately bass from Yamaha TX, like a DX module. And I think this is cool. I actually do have two more basses that I would like to put in. So let me call this Serum. The other one is a Whoop. So that is A25, A27. And I have to put them back on the map because I deleted them too early. So I'm going to input A25. That I would want to have on here. So I think if I put them on A18 with a move. Oh no, move to kick. I have to do it like this. 19. The Whoop. I would do on 20. Now I go back to this. Absolute move. Okay, rearranged with the two additional basses now here. In my eyes, time well spent. I think I could be faster at like not doing and arranging with this. Of course, I do it for camera now, but also if I mix larger projects, I like to take these like 15 minutes. Usually it's shorter when I'm not talking. To kind of set up nice in order to then be fast, move around, and just know where everything is, have everything labeled. And I think I had a comment under my last video, why do I not use, for example, this scribble strip to not have this named here, but then as soon as I start working with banks to flip things around, or if I have to move things, stuff gets complicated. So I think this is actually not a terrible solution. So that is one side. Let's do the other. You can see the sound a little better. Could I integrate an iPad? I'm dreaming about integrating an iPad for a while now to kind of maybe work with something or like as a second monitor. But I don't know if that is possible to use an iPad as a controller for like as a second screen and then also control the screen with the iPad. I think it would be pretty cool. There's a knocking sound. Someone pressed the press button. Actually, that is one of my faders here. That is a bit buggy. And that is because if there's no channel loaded, he's trying to go back to 0. But I think because of a cleaning issue, it doesn't reach 0, so it's like duck, 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 resetting itself all the time. If I were to put a channel on here, it would stop. I think if I were to clean it, it would also stop. I think that's what you mean with the knocking sound, right? Now I have a channel on it. Now it's gone. Stop knocking. And now even if I turn this to 0, yeah, because it doesn't go to 0 now, it shows me minus 70 dB here, and it's not doing the 128. Yeah, that is the issue with some of these faders, and that's where I was sorry about that. It does drive me crazy as well, but I remember at first, like when I encountered this, imagine now it's one fader, but when I restored the console, I had like every time I was turning on the console, I would have like 5 to 10 faders doing this dick and all not in sync. Should have recorded that. It was actually kind of cool in the beginning. It was kind of like this thing is alive, but yeah, it's sometimes, and also especially now, it drives me crazy as well. So we have all these bases on the console. Let me see. Let me put this sound next. That should be here, A33. Kind of like a Hoover synth. Then I have my arpeggiator. A35. And then we're doing vocals, so we have like kind of like drop vocal, the chop vocal, and the stretched vocal. So where are we? A35. So I'm doing A37, A39, A41. Right now I can put, let me see how many channels I have. Up until 15, so I think that's 64. Yeah, 16, 48 plus 16. I can do 64 tracks on this console as I have everything in stereo, also because of the way that Ableton works. It's all stereo tracks. A lot of times when I get something to mix, it has panorama on it, so I go to the console only in stereo tracks, which is quite luxurious, and I don't think you can do this with like an analog system. There is, I think, the Oracle from SSL coming out right now, and it has, I think, 24 channels, maximum 48, and even with 48 channels, I don't think you want to do everything stereo. For me, I have right now, the kick is a stereo channel just for convenience. A lot of times I do get kicks with stereo content. And 64, 32 channel stereo channels is actually quite good. I do have some projects though where I would need more, and I would have to get like another MADI connection going for that. And I could do, well, my DSP has 8 more channels, I think. And then I'm dreaming about upgrading the DSP as well to get like more channels, more DSP. Because I do have a lot of mixes, like people go crazy on vocals for a long time now. And I do get sent projects that have like, I don't know, 60, 70 vocal tracks. And I try to group them, but even then, mixing work that I do is quite, a lot of times they're quite heavy. And then I do end up with like a track count of over 100 in Ableton. And then if I condense that, it still comes out to a lot of tracks on the console. So let me press the right. Yeah, and now we have the vocals as well. on the console. So that is A33 is kind of like my vocal drop. That is a vocal chop, and then we have a vocus that is stretch. Nice. And then all the other channels, to the right we can clean out. So there's a pretty tiny setup today. Electronic music, played live, just a few instruments. And I think that's perfect to start out because I am talking a lot, you guys have a lot of questions. And we don't want to get caught up in like a deadline for a huge project today. So I can go here and again with the absolute mode, just, oh no, let me use relative. Kind of take these out, and that's where I love the haptic controls of it. Boom, that's it, done. Wait, I think I fucked up. I forgot 2 synthesizers. Do I have an undo button on this console? I wish. A lot of times I wish. I haven't found one yet. I've cut copy paste, but I don't think I have an undo. No problem though. I can just 24 put these back up. 25. And then I think if I press play, yeah, I forgot the synth. So let me do that again. That is the Hoover, the ARP, and then we have vocal drop, vocal chop, and vocal stretch without the T, because I think I'm limited to, yeah, I'm limited to 8 letters on my scribbling strip. There it is. Cool singer console I use in broadcast. Used in a singer console I use in broadcast. Using this. You worked on this. Amazing. I think they're pretty. They were used quite a bit in broadcast, but because they were used before Web 2.0, you have not a lot of infos and pictures of them. Yeah. This is a broadcast system, and it came from the Bavarian broadcast. And I think this is the only broadcasting console that is great for a recording studio. Cool. I think that's it for the console setup. Let me show it to you from the center. That is my view when mixing. On keyboard again. And there you have all channels filled. Awesome. Please stand by. I'm gonna refill my glass of water, and then we're going to set it up for the way that I mix with this system, which is digitally controlled, but I am going out through to a lot of this outboard in order to get the sound, the perfect blend between digital control and punch, but also analog warmth, because this is the one thing that this console does not have, which is kind of like saturation, right? I'll be back in a minute. I think, well, that's where I'm new. I think YouTube said, where am I? Oh yeah. How does that work? Mark moments? Ha! Okay. Okay. Back we are. Maybe you have gotten an ad. Maybe not. We're back. Just started live music. I think I'm missing a good ear. I think the good ear you have already. When I started out, what I always thought would be missing is just experience, like actual work experience to get this, to get what I call is it preemptive listening? Like to be able to hear the change you're about to do or you want to do before you're doing it, and actually knowing what tools I need to achieve the change that I'm already hearing in my head to become reality, which is like a strategic thing in mixing. Yeah. But if you have experience with live boards, this actually works pretty much like a live board, and I think they have the haptics of mixing pretty much locked down, because live you just don't have time. And I always love the idea of live mixes, and we're going to use that as well. I have these fader presets where I can have my auxes on a fader. You see everything flips, and to use that for like reverbs in mixing is like the coolest thing ever. And then also I have this axis fader thing where here in the middle I have a fader to control everything that I want from the center and whatnot. And that's something that studio consoles normally don't have. Like studio consoles, either you have a controller and they always fight with the DAW to really show what's going on there. I have like a, let me show you. I have this thing that is it's even the faders, they kind of look the same, but there's some things where the integration is not good, and I have to scroll through banks and whatnot. And I always thought that live is like the live sound field, while they're fighting with like the worst sounds ever, like just a singers through an SM58 is like, and my respect to the people out there that have to deal with this every day, because it's just really, really something else. Like the signals that people deal with live, they're just so much tougher. Yeah. Something else. This is Whitesea Studio Evolution. Yeah, I think Whitesea has been running for longer, and I just now discovering earlier videos where he builds his studio, and I love the series where he, and I suggest you go check that out. He tried to restore the same console, and he did a lot of what I do as well on camera, like restoring. He used to show that earlier, and yeah, big respect to the man. Into hardware digital DM 4800. Is the DM 4800? Is that like a TAS? I think I got offered a DM 2000. Is that the same? Is that a Tascam? Yeah. Or is it? Yeah. Yeah, they're cool. They're pretty cool. I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know how they like sound and everything. They also look like the Avid or Digidesign systems. Similar time, I think early 2000s. And the one that I got offered is, I think it's a Yamaha DM 2000. Yeah, but it's a similar concept. And that's supposedly really, really good. So digital is underrated. That's my travel long ago experience is everything. It is. And I used to worry about will my hearing degrade over time, but now that I have the experience in mixing, and I also know Like treble, for example, is not coming from nowhere. Same as with bass. Like if you have bass, you always have like overtones, and with treble as well, there's always like a fundament below it. So it's, yeah, experience is everything. Sense on fader, yeah. Not just live. Sony OXF R3, the Oxford console. This cool that you named this console. The Sony Oxford console is one of the consoles that I'm extremely curious to like own and restore one day. I think they're not super rare, but they are indeed rare. Also because I think people are starting to throw them away. I hope I will get a Sony. If you know from somebody who would give me a Sony Oxford for 3, I'm happily showing and restoring it. I think the Sony Oxford is a bit older though, and while the DSPs are good, I don't know. I think did they have headroom problems? Or are they in 32-bit float as well? Because this internal is already 32-bit float. It works with the Shark DSPs that Universal Audio uses as well. Same DSPs. And because I think a 24-bit fixed point console is something else in terms of quality. And with the Sony Oxford, I don't know how good the preamps are, because the preamps in here and the DAs are amazing. Good point, because that's what we're getting to now, the analog summing. I have everything now on the console and we listen to it, because it's going all to sum 1 and 2. And let me show it to you. For every channel, I can assign the channel. So for example, if I do take the kick drum, I can assign the kick drum to a sum here. Main sum, it's assigned to sum 1 and 2. And then above it, I can assign it to a group. And that's what we're going to do now, because you see here I have groups set up for drums, bass, music, and vox. And I do use the direct outs of this group to go into my analog summing, which is right here in the corner, my trusty old SSL6. I also have like a summing box under it to extend the channels. So I do have like a, you see it here, this is like a Siemens Austria rack with I think 24 more ins that I use to now sum my external reverbs as well. And external effects. So I do use this console. From the console I go into this channel strip, which is from an old TAB console. Pretty rare stuff. You don't. I only seen this ever come up once again in like the 5 years that I own this. It does have like a compressor. You see Rücklaufzeit, which is like return ratio. I have an EQ in here, and then I think I use like a Potec as well, and that's it. Well, I use on the vocal group, I use this Mark EQ as well, so there's a bit involved. But the analog summing is handled here, and then going through some outboard. Now, why do I use the summing as well? I think most of you know the discussion about analog summing. What does it do to the sound? Well, I definitely want to have an analog sound to my mixes, and I think most of the analog sound is actually done by the processing that I use. My only reason to sum analog as well is a headroom, right? So that I can use my analog fader here as well to exactly control the level going into my compressor. And then the second argument for me to sum analog is processing, for example, for the reverbs. If I would have to convert my analog FX, or like, well, these are mostly digital, right? The lexicon, for example. I would get even more time delay, which I don't want. And then also I'm doing parallel drum processing, which is not set up yet, but I want to do it. And for that, I would need like a way to accent stuff. So analog summing, well, the summing in itself for me is a headroom, but moreover, it's like time alignment when working with digital. That is very important for me. And then the analog sound that I want to have, I achieve through my outboard here. Most of my sound is done in these channels. They're quite special. So Yes. Well, and that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go through all the channels that are set up on the board. And I can do that from here as well. Right, with the arrow buttons, you can see it on my matrix. I don't have to reach for the channels. I could. I mean, I could go here, say kick. But for assignment, it's actually easier. Yeah, and I think with my template I made a mistake last time. That's why they all go to group 1 and 2 already. Group 1 and 2 I have for effects. For all drums and percussions I use 3 and 4. So I go 3 and 4 for the percussion, 3 and 4 for clap, 3 and 4 for 9 and 9, 3 and 4 for kick. My basses are 5 and 6, so... That's all the bass. My music is 7 and 8. So I go 7 and 8, 7 and 8. 7 and 8. Oh no, yeah, that's vocals already. So vocals are 9 and 10. Alright. And if I play it now, you still hear the digital sum, but I show you how it's looking like now in the analog domain, because this is the setup now. You see here I have my group assignments, right? Here. And again, if I play it, I have my music coming here, my drums, my bass is coming through external, and my vocals. Yeah. So, get it back. Okay. What console are you using? Yes, already explained. It's a LAWO MC2 broadcasting console from Germany. Do you have air conditioning in your studio? No, I don't. This is a basement, and I've been talking about it in my earlier in my videos. I did solve this problem though, so stay tuned. This console gets quite warm. It's toasty in itself. But my room is not a sauna anymore. And look, guys, Sony DMX R100 with the Muddy card. Sony DMX, is it that one with like this bay? Sony DMX 100. Yeah. It kind of looks like a newer version of the Oxford, no? At least like the EQ and dynamics section in the center. That looks like a cool board. Surprise entry project studio digital context. When is that? 2000. Yeah, it looks like a 2000, early 2000 console. Surround mixing. That seems like a cool Shark DSP. Haha. 16 Shark DSP processors in this console. My console right now has a 144 Shark processors working. So if you're familiar with UID, that would be like a 144 core, which is absolutely insanely stupid. I don't know why they use so much. I think they put 6 channels on one DSP. And that's how much DSP I can get on these LAWO racks. Yeah, right now I have 6 cards, and each card has 24 cores, basically. But the maximum I can fit is 10 cards, meaning 240 DSP cores. And I've seen that in the truck that I restored the OB van that I restored in the Netherlands, they actually have all 10 cards installed, and I think they can do like 190 tracks or something. Insanely, maybe, if not more. Been a while. Shark DSPs, yeah, with a C. Shark, SHARC. Shark. Now let me switch over so we can hear the analog. I'll drop a save here in Ableton. This has to be 00 pre mix, and I think if normally it would load a template now, but my setup here is a bit more complicating with the tempo of the track, so I load the mix template from the LAWO like this, drop that into my Ableton, because I need a few tracks for my mixing to work that I'm going to show you. Most of it is like reverbs, because while I do use some hardware reverbs, I use most of it in Ableton, so my reverbs are kind of like a rerouting. Fix, I don't need the bass, I do need some bass effects in my template, and it's for the echo. Put that down here. Now I have to build my summing return in Ableton, so I use, let me clear this, then I use these devices, and now are we hearing it double? No, because I turned this down. So let me rearrange, and I think I would have to turn off in the arm E. Now we're hearing nothing. Perfect. And now. That is the analog sum. I'm gonna quickly set the gain state to my compressor. It's working too hard. Yeah, I want it working, but still have dynamic. The LAWO come with one insert path per track and also one direct out. And then additional outputs for recording I could do, but I think you're talking about processing power. That is yeah, that's what I mostly do before, what I'm going to show you. So in order to mix this now, let me turn off everything. let me see what picture do you have. Does it make sense to? Yeah, come on. Let's do it like this. No. Does that make sense? Can I still reach it? Not really, no. Let's do it like this. Yeah. Let's do it like this. So I have my kick drum, and the idea in mixing with the LAWO is I have this access here in the middle, and you can see my kick drum moving on the left now, but I can control it from here, which would I mean, I'm wearing headphones now, but normally it would be for me to do that in between the speakers. And then also I have my panorama section here where I can do left right. I can do surround pan on this. You can see I could turn it to the back. And I am working on a setup where if I turn it to the back, it will go into a reverb for kind of like a front to back panorama thing. Sadly, this will not mean it'll be turned off in the front, because in order for it to do that, I would have to make all my groups surround as well, and that would mess with my analog summing. So it would just add in reverb if I turn it to the left, and I would have to use kind of like two hands to pan it back and then also make it quieter. So it won't be like a full dry wet thing. Show the routing menu on the LAWO. Sure. There it is. The routing menu. It is they call it the matrix list. You can see it on the top. And I use it most of the time to either route DAW tracks to, like here on the right, a channel input. In my preset, I use it to route other DAW tracks to like my insert sends, which is these boxes that convert it to go into the outboard and then back. And then also in recording, of course, I have here on the left, I call it producers and booth, because we have the recording booth to the left. And I have inputs that are kind of hardwired through a patch bay to the booth. And then I have producers, which is like, we call it the producers room. It's a larger live room in there. And I will route these preamps here to channels. If I were to make a connection, I highlight an output with an input, and then I press a connection, just a button. That is all. Those spill faders to the left of the pan pad. These are my group faders. I have drums, bass, music, and Vox on here. I actually don't use them a ton in mixing. I even thought about using this space for other processing. Like I have my dynamics up here and my equalizer up there, and I could put the compressor here if I want. Or I was experimenting with putting the aux down here. You're going to see me use the aux section a lot. But it was looking weird. I think it looks better with the faders here, and even though I don't use them, I left them here. So, yeah. Let's find a section of the song that I would want to mix first, and that's usually the one with the most energy, so probably here. And right now we're only listening to the kick drum. So I will now just start and kind of like mix it and try to answer questions in between. But basically what you're going to see me do is jump between Ableton, where I use plugins, and the console, where I will do most of my surgical EQing in Ableton. But maybe I'll kind of force myself to use the console EQ and compressor more often for this mix. But normally, right now, I use my plugins as well. Also, what I will do, and that's what I start with, I'm going to use outboard. So for my kick, I now want to do this. And what I'm going to do then is in Ableton. Can you see that? I'm gonna show because that's actually, yeah. I have also a number of pre-labeled effects that are external instruments, but also have them labeled here, right? So you can see Studa Mark, VSV compressor, and then my L10s, which is the APF 500. So I route my audio there, and then audio runs through these EQs. I would maybe want to do the gain staging. That's a clip. Almost. I think it sounds kind of cool. Distorted. And what I'm doing here now is I go from this track, I go to the outboard, I come back into Ableton, because what I want to do is I work with like recalling my mixes a lot, and I don't want to put this API EQ, where it's actually a copy, is stepped, so that wouldn't be that hard. But I do want to kind of like save or record what I'm doing with my analog outboard. So I have the second track that I route this first track into. And now you're going to see it's going from this track to this track. And if I were to kind of, or in the end, if I were to save it, I would just record this insert basically. And I actually don't do that a ton. I always think that I use a lot of analog inserts. The kick drum is a staple for me. I always route the kick drum to, let me correct the picture. I always route the kick drum to this API EQ because I think it just sounds fantastic, and it always adds, no matter what genre. For the rest of the analog outboard, I have to be honest, there is some things that do have like a purpose. So I know that this Bart EQ is just fantastic on guitars, but a lot of times I'm lazy and my mixes want to be quick, so I don't use it. I use that on loops a lot. I think I might today as well with the 909 loop that I have. But mostly what I use, I never use this as a compressor. I tried to sell it, nobody wanted it. I do use these two for vocals though. That's very important. If I have a lead vocal that's untreated, I always use these two. And then this compressor here is cool for guitars. There is the board. Strangest board I've ever seen. Yeah, you don't see this a lot. And it is quite strange. It is white and it is digital. So I can do a lot of crazy things with it. That is my kick, and I think I even want to saturate it a bit more. So though it doesn't sound too bad on this kick. Always when I load up Isotope Trash, it gives me this gabba sound. Auto gain. No, I don't like it. Like it. Maybe. Where is it? Max bass. But I'm not sure if this. Yeah, this clips obviously. Before. I think we're in a good spot with the kick. Let me add. Some saturation. Let me try and use the LAWO EQ here. Normally I would use the Pro Q now. And can I show it? There it is, the EQ 4 bands. And on this display, I don't know if you can see it on your display. It's probably pretty small. I have this line which represents the curve that I'm about to do. So the 909 head always for me has this, is it like 4K-ish? I could do a similar move by just using a low shelf. What I don't like about the shelf is the shelf and the cut, they share. And if I engage it, you was hearing it with a high shelf. It starts at a cut. I would love to have this preset. Sounds kind of nice. I love the grid it has. On some signals when testing it, it sounds almost a bit harsh. But I think for this 909 it's actually cool. Also, I figured when tweaking it, it is actually, you think when turning this, for example, the frequency now is set to 4,435. If I turn it one step to the left, it's 4,371. So that's like, what is it? 64 hertz, and that's basically like nothing. It looks like you're crunching numbers, but it's actually pretty fine in the values that you can. Cool stuff. Now let's use the coolest feature, and that is the reverbs and everything. And I showed you before, I have this section here where I have the controller sign and my fader presets. So I can either use one of the 4 auxes that are preset, which is A1, A3, 5, and 7. Let me show you how these sound. And because they're coming back from the board, I have to go reduce latency while monitoring. I have all these reverbs here, and what I do is the auxes that I send the signal to, they're just going back to Ableton. They go into one of my reverbs here. For example, the first one I showed you is just like a, no, that's the second. It's just like a spring reverb. The other ones that I have sadly only 4 as presets. A3. Bad examples for drums, but that is like a UAD chamber. A5. Gated. Better choice for drums. I have this guy. And then plate. And all the other ones, I reach. They don't. The other ones do not have a preset, but I have this temporary fader thing where I can touch a knob. For example, my room, temporary fader, and I have it on the room, or slap. My SPX90, which is broken, I think, and so on. There's the BX2. And that's the first page. On the second page, you're gonna see me more with the instruments. I have a Dimension D kind of thing. I have an H3000 and then 2 other delays. The other pages I don't use. I have 32 auxes with these boards. And I always have them no matter what DSP configuration. But depending on my DSP configuration, not all of these auxes have EQ and compression. Okay, let's find a setup that works. I think I would go for kind of like a gated thing with maybe a bit of room. So and that's the workflow. And you've seen me now explain it for minutes and then just dialing it in with these presets. It's a matter of seconds and I love it. I love to distribute reverb like that. And that again is something live engineers, for them it's normal to do it in the studio a lot of times. You either reach somewhere with the mouse or, yeah. Also, I don't like rotaries for this kind of reverb work. I love linear faders. Next channel. Clap. Saturation. Let's EQ. And here's what I have: 2 presets on this EQ, 2 preset slots. So here on the left, I have preset 1 and 2, and actually on my mixing setup, preset 1 is like a Neve and preset 2 is a Potec. Where I matched curves. I have this plugin doctor thing where I matched the EQ curve of the board with that of the Neve. So normally on this clap I would use the plugin, which is UAD Neve 1073, but the one without saturation. And I would do a curve where I make this more present like this. And I can actually now do this on the board with one press of a button. So I use preset 1. And it does the same thing. And I have controls here where I have my high shelf. I use this band to simulate like a dip that the high shelf usually does. And yeah. Can tweak it a bit. Well, that's pretty much what I want, and that's what I use this EQ most. I don't do a lot of tweaking with it because, like, having the fab filter showing you where stuff is happening, it can be a trap, but I'm so used to it. a bit easier. Let's give this a room as well. So and with that, I have died in my rooms. I love this so much. This aux on fader thing is just the coolest thing ever. See this board in a dimmed room? I can. While I'm taking a second to drink something, I can show you what it looks like. Dimmed. It looks really nice dimmed, but I don't work like this a lot because it makes me tired, and I'm here mostly in daytime. I don't know if I showed that ever on one of my videos. That is the spaceship configuration. Though I don't have a ton of channels up, let me take that moment to save my title. So let me do a new folder for this. Production. I saved the title. Let me just for the looks load a title that has more tracks on it. There it is. The spaceship. That's the right light setting for the song actually. Let me finish it like this. Finish what we started. Load the title that we're actually working on. Has a bit less tracks. There we go. Here we are. Yes. Oh, I hope my CPU can handle the streaming and mixing. Again, add saturation in the box. Let's do some EQ here. Well, no, let let me try the... Yeah, that was the Neve preset. And it does most of what I want. More present, a bit more top end. And I have two variants of the Neve, because the original Neve curve that I have with the UID has kind of like a roll-off in the high frequency. And I have this filter section as well, where I have a high and a low cut filter, or like just like two filters more. So this is a 6-band EQ actually. And I have a preset on here as well that does the slight high frequency roll-off. Not much noticeable here, but on some instrument that filter makes all the difference, like on a guitar or on a piano or something. Let's give this a room. So for the little dropouts in between, I think streaming and mixing. I did production on live stream, but I think streaming and mixing is quite tough for my little MacBook Air. Also, Ableton wants me to do a restart because I have one older plugin in my template. That is crashing. Of course this board has automation, because that's actually a broadcasting feature as well. If you do musical theater stuff, a lot of time things are time coded. Like the turning on and off of microphones when people enter the stage and whatnot. So this board has, and you can actually see, let me show you, it waits for a time code all the time. So in here, I have this time code with my frames per second displayed all the time. I want to use the automation on here because it has a lot of great features with read-write, and I have this whole automation section here in the center that I can't use right now because I don't have the time code. It connects to the system as well with like a weird 9-pin D-sub that I just haven't figured out. That's the only reason why I'm not using the automation right now. I do use automation in Ableton. But I want to do this on the desk in the future. And then also, while this is a broadcasting console, in the brochure, like in the manual that I have, there is they focus quite a lot on like CD production, even though I don't think it was used a ton for it. I think it was used mostly for television and radio. But it wants to be a music production console. Even though it's not really one. Okay. How is it with the dimmed setup? Oh yeah, you see what's going on. I thought maybe we stay dimmed like that. I mean, it's starting to be late in the night. Here we are. Yes, I have a special FX chain that I like to do for bass. That widens it a bit and gives it some drive. Sounds fantastic. Now, next thing I want to do is actually roll off some top end, and let me use the console for that as well. So, yes, and then also this by using reverse. Yeah. Also, this would be the moment where I would start to use maybe like a chorus or an H3000. Let me show you. That's the H3000. That's the chorus. Yeah, you're asking the right, what time code do I need? I think there's, I don't know. I didn't know that there's multiple time codes. I haven't tried it yet. And I think that's the one thing where I'm always like, do I contact LAWO again? Because there's no info in my info about it. And before I started this project, LAWO was like, yeah, just take all the info but never ask us any question. And now actually I know that LAWO was watching the videos, and I was very close to meeting them in their factory, like getting a factory tour. But because of private issues, I couldn't make it now in August. But I will be there in November, I think, to hopefully talk to LAWO. And then, yeah, like just visit them. But also, there's just, I do have good contact with them now, and maybe I ask them. Maybe I ask him. Sempty. I think, yeah. I think it's Sempty. I want to add another channel because I want to add a sub oscillator to it. So I route this to A19. A19. I will call it sub. And A19 is what I'm going to have at A20, correct. And then this guy, I want it. Perfect. They can, as a technician. Hi, cheat 1995. I am dreaming about it sometimes to work for LAWO. Honestly, I think even the consoles they built today are great, though they're not doing what I love about this console anymore. Like, they're very, very specialized in sports broadcasting, and I think LAWO right now they're doing all the Olympic Games. Bundesliga in Germany, World Cup. I don't know if they do World Cup, but they do the Bundesliga in Germany, all of it. and have very specialized systems for it. So LAWO's doing amazing with stuff that originated here. And I'm seeing other companies do things like SSL right now with the Oracle, where I'm like, yo, if like LAWO would do something like this, where they have digital control, flexibility in a modular setup, and then also combine that with a legacy of like preamps that have transformers in them, they could do like, this could easily be a studio standard, easily, because like mixing on a digital console, and that's like what I'm trying to get out into the world, is the coolest thing ever. I think I messed up because this, I want to have it on. Oh no, I did not mess up. It was correct. There's my sub. It's not really sub octave. That's what I want. Nice. Consoles are much more integrated. Yes, and I think that's good in terms of like the DSP handling, and there's aspects of the systems that are just crazy overpowered. And I don't think people nowadays would want to have like a machine room or something for the computers. I think right now you would be able to integrate all of your computers for a console into a console and have that even be quiet. But this aspect of like that I can rearrange where is my auxes. I can just rearrange that. If I feel like, okay, I don't need my auxes as much, I can put them somewhere else. Can get my compressor down here. I can put as many faders. Like this is unmatched. And even the LAWOs after this one, they would come with a pre-configured panel where then you're stuck to what they think is best for you. Studer console. Studer has the Vista console, which I would love to restore and try out, because I think that's a very, very cool system as well, which is kind of similar. And also the Studer, I know that the Studer is a system that can match this one, because the Studer also has very, very cool preamps. It's not as modular in the layout of the console, I think. But the Studer has the same as what I like about this console. Digital flexibility, amazing sounding preamps and converters. Though the Studers are more expensive. I know there's quite some people that still use Studers, and if a Studer shows up, people want 10 to 20 grand for it. But I think it's a very, very cool console. Yeah, and the modern Studers are just like a Soundcraft. I think Soundcraft bought Studer. Like a room. Yes, hello back to Belgium's. Back to Belgium's. Modular consoles, give you a chance to put in some default. Yeah, you mean the 500. Oh, what do you mean 400 figure? I think you do have some API 500 consoles, analog consoles, that you can kind of configure what EQ and what you have, but I think modularity should also be, or here it is like, where are the things? How can I reach them? And like you build your own controller basically, and that's what it is in front of me. It's just like the controller. Okay. We're actually mixing something. Nice. Next one, synthesizer. Luckily that we don't have a lot of instruments to mix today, so I can talk a lot. Cool. Let's actually use the compressor for once. Gonna use the gate to kind of make it rhythmic. Man, that sounds cool. Compressor section. That sounds cool. Sorry for the CPU hiccup. That my laptop has a little bit. Yeah, it is the right soundtrack as well for the alien invasion, right? The spaceship. Slap tape delay on that. Yeah, we're getting to the rooms now. Let's try out a bunch. The gate was super cool. Like I'm amazed on how the gate clicks in a very satisfying, almost natural way. There's a lot of analog gates. If they click at the beginning, if they're very fast, I think it sounds really, really bad. This one, I mean, the sound did it as well. Slap. I have a slap that sounds like this. That I use for vocals. Let me try. Okay. A little bit of the gated. Back to the slap. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, that's actually a lot of my mixing work is, and you can see if I flip my rooms on and off. It's not a ton, but it's just it's making it 3D. And this is an element that wants to be in the foreground, so it shouldn't have a lot of reverb, but it should have the right room and right reverb to set it apart. And that's, you've seen me flicking through the things, also my chorus and H3000 and things. Yeah, it's just super easy with this aux and fader stuff. Let's get it pumping. You know what we should do? We should sidechain on it. I made a short video about it. We should do sidechain, 100%. And I think well, I would have to let go of the compressor then, though. But I think I can show it to you at least. So this console has the amazing feature that all of my processors here, really all of them? Well, at least my compressor has an X and Y feature. So if I hold this for a while, I can now tweak the compressor and do something completely else and then go back to what I had before. Sidechain, yeah. And I think with the time, what I always have set up, because I told you earlier, there's one channel that is always labeled kick, and this kick channel is always going to a dynamic key 1. And let me just confirm in my channel. Yeah, external key is always 1. So if I'm now pressing external key, it should start to pump. Like, I can make any sound pump by just pressing one button because the kick is always routed. There it is. Boom. I think it sounds cool, and you know what we're going to do for the compression that I wanted to do with this synth? I'm actually just going to use the limiter. Slower attack. Love it. Never thought about it, but true. I can make anything pump with this console because I always have my kicks pre-routed. With just like, well, 2 buttons, engaging the compressor, engaging the external key. Proof of concept. Where's the vocal? Pultec EQ preset on the vocal. think it's my iPhone will need charging soon. I find this in the outro. I want to do the break before crossfade. Shit. Kind of like this. Well, there's two steps involved. So one is, and I can show it to you right now because we're actually not listening to it directly from the console anymore. And I forgot to take this track out. Anyways, so we're actually listening to. Oh yeah. Let me adjust the camera because actually it's listening on my master track of Ableton. I have an external instrument that I use as a return, so I'm getting audio from 1516 here on the master track, and we're actually listening to the return. So I could already do like a master EQ and even like a master limiter from the return that I get from my analog domain. So setup is all tracks go digitally to the LAWO. There being something groups here, I kind of use the LAWO to control and mix with the tools that I have and that we have seen. I go out in groups to the console, analog summing, then it comes back. And I even have like a hidden channel on the LAWO, which is I think B31. There it is, mix return, where I can do kind of like an analog. Oh, I'm rolling across my headphone cable right now. I have like an input gain control in order to control how hard am I hitting my converters. Normally pretty hard. Yeah, I think I'm even clipping them at some parts of the song, and I could do more. Here on the LAWO, I could do less. Sometimes I love using clipping as like a creative effect, and I control it with this input control in this hidden mix return channel. And then if I want to record that, I do have this here is the LAWO return, and let me just show it to you how it looks like. I can then return the mix, record the mix. And if I would want to listen to that, I go to my master channel, disable the LAWO return, and then we have this recording playing with all the glitches. That is the only issue with the setup. Why not only I don't even think it's an issue to have to listen to the song again as a whole when you're kind of bouncing it, right? Because I'm recording it just like any other music that is playing. But I do have to be very, very careful with dropouts, because every dropout that I experience will be there as well. And it's not the solution to just turn the buffer size all the way up. Put you on the other side. Because that messes with the reverb returns and the sound of them. So I have to reopen Ableton again. I have an old version of SonarWorks in my template that keeps crashing. I don't use SonarWorks right now anymore. I used to use it quite a lot. Yeah, I need to record in real time because of the outboard gear and effects, and also because of the console itself, the LAWO. Right? Dropouts should be less while streaming. Yes, I will also, because I'm distracted a bit with talking, and also because I'm not used to do that amount of critical listening on the headphones. I will do the mix, and I'll probably take like 5 or 10 minutes, either after the stream or tomorrow, to kind of finish it up. But it makes me very creative to mix here with you. There are some effects I probably wouldn't have done. I love the gate on the ARP and the pumping as well. So, but I do a lot of professional work for clients, and I usually, at some point in the process, I love having them around. I'm also very positive with like feedbacks from clients, and a lot of my colleagues that are doing professional mix work or trying to do professional mix work, there are a lot of times they get turned off from feedback. For me, I'm super happy to have people around and commenting. What if you record the FX tracks before bouncing? Yeah, I also, before I bounce, I do record like I have the kick drum going through an analog EQ, and I will record that in order to keep it. The effects returns, like I have all my reverbs coming back in Ableton as well. I usually do not record them. They're being recorded with the mix. Because also I don't need anything to recall them. So why should I record them? But maybe I'm still not sure. Like a lot of the professional mix that I do, people are requesting stems. And I know before the LAWO console, I would just kind of convert my analog summing into an in the box mix. And that's where right now, if I'm doing stems, I'm stuck to soloing and doing everything manually. I hope to find a better solution in the future, but that's what it is right now. Let's do the break, and then I can think we can make it a whole song. Oh, you go. The ARP sounds so cool with the game. Oh, I would love to automate it to turn on and off the gate. That's what I would need the timecode for. This already is pretty wide. I think I would. Yeah, boost some low end. Maybe some. Record the return. I could do, and that's what I did when, I don't know if you know, on my channel I used to have an ADT console, an analog console, and what I would do there is if I would have used the EQ, I would record the insert. And I mean, that's what I could do, but then also I think I will try like kind of like a performance when recording, like a dub technique. And that's what I can also do if I don't have automation. And that's what I did before automation. That would have one person doing the job. And that one person right now would then be me, probably. Let's go. I don't know if maybe I want this to be going around in circles. Let's try a good old Brower. Maybe not so fast. Yeah. Drop vocal. And a drop vocal would have to be louder. Yeah, 5%. That's why. Let me get the power connector for my phone, so we're not losing picture. Be back in a second. Sorry for that. I need to find the cable. Where is it? No. There it is. Where are you at? Yes. Nice.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Watch how I switch my.
Okay, yeah. Let's try a few things here. Protec preset.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Watch how I switch.
Also, and I can show you now. It's the. Oh wait, the camera flipped. What happened? Is that because of the charging cable? Maybe. Whoops. Here we are back. So, yes. Where was I? Oh yeah. On these vocals already, I use the Mark EQ. I can show you what it does. It's on the insert of the group. So if I choose the group, here I have my insert.
Watch how I switch my.
Without it.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Watch how I switch my shit.
With it, it's just a little more present. So.
Watch how I switch my shit.
But this would have to be way louder.
Watch how I switch my shit up.
Not that loud.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Watch how I switch my shit up.
Okay, I am missing some low end, so let me find.
Watch how I switch. Watch how I switch my shit up. 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 Watch how I switch my shit up.
And then also there's some reverbs that I want to that I would want to stop, and I think it's this long one.
Watch how I switch my shit up.
So, and then right now I can't automate that on the board yet, but I can like automate the returns.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Switch my shit up.
What else do I want to turn off? I think this guy.
Watch how I switch my shit up. Watch how I switch my shit up.
Yeah. Cut. here I'll turn the vocal down.
Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out, I switch my shit up.
Good night, thanks for being here. Man, that's the longest stream I ever did by far. I'm happy to have you all around. I think I'll finish this up now. Give this like a test recording. And then hope to see all of you and more next week. Because I have to mix another track on this. And then after I see... Before on Twitch, I was only streaming music production, like where I jam these songs and produce these songs in my other room. And then I'll probably find a rhythm where I would do 1 week kind of on the LAWO, 1 week in the production corner. Maybe, I don't know if anyone wants to send in something for a specific genre to do on this. I see to do a call out because I would love to mix like a band on here as well. If anyone would want to donate a song, that could be for the future. Yes, the red dot on the outer right strip is comp gate value. Yeah, so I get a lot of feedback from the console on what's happening.
Watch out.
So, yes. I'll show you.
Watch out, I switch my shit up.
So you're seeing LC in red for limiter compressor, and then here in orange you have EG for expander gate. And then here as well you have these 4 rows where in green you have gate expander, and then in red limiter compressor. If I play it, you see them dancing with like values. Sorry for the chaos, my gimbal doesn't like. Man, come on. No. No. Fuck. Yes. Come on. Fucking hell. Yeah. Sorry. My gimbal doesn't like the charging cable that I attach to the phone now. So I think I'll leave it static for a bit until the phone is charged. So yeah, that's you get a lot of pretty cool features with this console, and everything is like dancing. You have the gain reduction there, you have the indicators here, you also have the level here on the bottom, you have the level here on the top. It's apart from the phase meter that everybody loves, it gives a pretty good visualization. let's push this track over the finish line. So I already did some arrangement work where I would play not only just a loop, but like how I'm getting into and out of them. And the most part of the song's good. Let's see what's happening before the break.
Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out. Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out. Watch out, I switch my shit up.
Nice. One more new element. And then we got a track. And for this, I would love to have it pretty wide. This kind of 303, so. Yeah, something like this. Yes. Room.
Watch out.
Yes.
Watch out.
And also.
Watch out.
Bit more.
Watch out, I switch my shit up.
And then also.
Watch out. Watch out, I switch my shit up. Watch out. Watch.
Let's experiment with the bass. I'm gonna use a feature that I didn't show before. I mean, I said that there's X and Y features, kind of like A/B. And there's actually an A/B feature for the whole console, so I can try out a completely different mix and then go back to what I had before. And all I have to do is press the console X and Y feature for a bit. And now I can switch between X and Y. So right now I'm in X and I have a copy in Y. I want to try a setup with a little bit more bass. That is more bass heavy than kick heavy, so.
Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Switch my shit up.
Yeah.
Switch my shit up. Watch out, switch my shit up.
I think we got it. Let me do a final play back. I'm gonna mute your microphones. I'm gonna listen to it myself on speakers. Thank you for being here. I end the stream after. It's been a pleasure and great success for me. Tons of people showing up here. Tons of great comments. And I'm hoping to do this more often. Maybe every Monday. Probably not every time on the LAWO. And hope to see you there for producing and like songwriting as well. Also open for suggestions, comments. And yeah, with that, I'll mute the mic. I'll put the camera back and show you the full console one last time. Let's go.
Watch out. Watch out. Watch out, switch my shit up. Watch how I switch my shit